Santa's
Give them a Christmas fart.
give them a Christmas fart.
Frosty Christmas fart.
Frosty Christmas fart.
Get more Christmas farts from Santa with the Christmas farts extension.
There is an extension pack, and I believe it costs money. How much is the extension pack?
Santa will take you through all the festive farts, like Christmas elf farts and mince pie farts. As a Prime member, you save 39 pence. Your price is just £1.60. Check the Alexa app for terms.
And it's expensive. It's £1.60 for farts. I will offer that to Michael for Christmas. Christmas present.
Did you see the juice just squirt out of my mouth? Did you see that? Oh my god.
Actually, I'm going to need one of those dishes and a knife because I'm a pig.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you are. We should call this the disgusting podcast, you know? Disgusting ASMR.
The nasty.
Nasty.
podcast. So nasty.
I never met anyone who cuts a orange like that.
You will see why in a minute.
Alright, I have news. I don't have any tissues. I've used them all. So, good luck.
It's fine.
Oh, wait. Wait.
The last one.
We can share.
In any other situation, that would sound so wrong. We share tissue.
What the hell? Show it to the camera. Show what you've done. Show it to all of them. I got no words to say. Bro, who eats an orange like that? What the fuck is going on? It's not your
Oranges.
technique, right? You just put your tongue in there and just squeeze it. Squeeze the juice into your mouth, huh?
It's very juicy.
I wouldn't want to know. Well, use this now. Alright, we gotta stop. We gotta stop. It's a big apple.
That's a very juicy orange. Big apples and juicy oranges.
This is gonna be my director's cut.
Deleted scenes at the end.
Yeah, to be released in 10 years. Like Rocky 4.
Rocky 4. They took off the robot. No robot on the movie.
Hmm?
The robot. They cut the robot.
Oh, Robot.
The robot scenes.
Bit my lip. Alright, when are you ready?
Hello. Why this spear is shaped like this?
I don't know.
Spears are not supposed to look like this.
Found it on the black market.
Look.
That's the emoji. I'm gonna use this emoji from now on instead of the eggplant.
Spear.
Gonna make that into emoji. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next episode of our show. We have here again Mr. Alexis Fuentes.
From episode 1.
From episode 1, yeah, let me just finish your full name. Alexis Fuentes Rodriguez Ferguson da Firenze.
Da Firenze.
How you been, bro?
I'm alright.
Good to have you back.
Yeah, shake hands.
Yeah,
Fuck
shook us
COVID,
half an hour
yeah.
ago, but how you been, bro? What you been doing? What you been up to?
Nothing really.
Yeah,
Rocky 4.
I guess.
Rocky 4.
Yeah, you've been training?
Ivan Drago.
Listen. For those of you who don't know, Rocky, I mean, most people might know.
Probably.
Rocky 4 just had a director's cut. Okay? We saw it last night, and I love this movie because this is my childhood, right? I grew up with Rocky films. This is one of those films where it just made me want to work out and get into fitness or any sort of martial arts that I've done in the past, like Taekwondo and kickboxing. So I tell this guy, I'm like, okay, let's go watch it on Sunday. He's like, yeah, let's go watch it. I can't wait. And we go into the cinema 15 minutes into the film. I look next to me and he's sleeping. And he's got two of his jackets on himself, like a blanket.
Like a grandma.
And you look like a nice little teddy bear with your curly hair. And your milkshake is full and your popcorn isn't touched. So I ate your popcorn. Thank you for that.
I finished
But-
your nachos. And my ice cream.
Yeah. Nachos were okay. I didn't like it that much.
I ate your nachos with the ice cream together.
How was your stomach?
Alexa, play fart noises. Christmas fart noises. Yeah,
What was a cheap
that's
warbling one?
that's your
Try
answer.
asking me for an engine rumble fart.
Thank you, Alexa.
Or say when.
Alexa, shut up.
Alexa
enough.
just loves to keep going.
Okay.
I might have an interview with her one day. Let's just put it there. Alexa, what do you think about today's politics events?
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah. Should make a trash interviewee.
I was going to say a comment, but that's like cut the comment. It's like Alexa is like every woman; she does not stop talking.
Yeah. I mean, wait, whoa. I didn't say yeah.
Like yeah. Okay,
Wait.
it's all right.
No, I was just I don't know what I was doing. I wasn't thinking about what he said. I just said yeah. I wasn't validating what he said in any shape or form. So-
No.
Yes, I know. I don't.
Yes,
agree
I
with
know.
what you're saying. Yeah. Anyway, we watched Rocky. What did you think of the director's cut? Because it started with a 20-minute interview with Rocky and some other dude in Hollywood, some corny dude. I don't even know his name. Asking stupid questions. But what did you think of the movie?
It was
Start
better
with the
than the
interview.
original one. I think
Okay.
it was better than the original one.
How so?
Better, like the story was better.
Did you know which scenes were added, which were changed? Did you notice that?
Yeah, they cut the robot.
Got it?
The robot. The
Cut-
robot.
Oh, you didn't like the robot?
Yeah, nobody likes the robot. Something good. I was like, why is this character here? Like, what's the purpose to the
I
story?
thought that was in the third one.
No, that's another one.
Hmm.
It was probably on both of them. So this one starts with the end of the third one. I believe that was added because I don't remember that was on the original one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a reminder.
It's like they made the scenes, they made the dialogue longer, and they added a bit more to the story, a bit more emotion, a bit more impact to the final fight that was about to come. So, Rocky 4 is my second favorite Rocky growing up. The first one is Rocky 1.
3.
Rocky 1.
Mr. T.
Okay, here's the thing. Rocky 3 has hands down the best training montage with Eye of the Tiger, with the Creed, his coach, doing a different style. That's the best training montage to me. But the villain is trash. The villain,
Mr. T.
yo, Mister. If you go to anyone and talk about Rocky characters, which ones do they tell you about? It's Rocky, it's
Drago.
Adrian, it's Drago, and it's Creed. Nobody even remembers Mr. T except you, maybe. But
No.
I mean, it's not that
Mr.
it's a
T
bad
is so
film.
iconic.
It's not that I think it's a bad film. It's a pretty good film. It's just not my favorite. Rocky 1 is very special to me because at the time when, even if you watch the interviews with Sylvester Stallone, he was going through a tough time during his life. He had no money. He sold his dog to be able to afford to go submit his script synopsis to eat, and he didn't care about money. He just wanted to make this film out. And in the interview, he said, before the film started, the 20-minute interview, he said that they offered me 360 grand to buy the script, they find their own actor, they find their own star, and make the film. And he said, I didn't want that. So he took a percentage of the profits. He said, okay, I'll just take whatever the film makes. This amount of the film's percentage I'm going to take, okay? I'm just going to put all my eggs in this basket. And what makes his acting so authentic in that first Rocky film was that it was real, because it was going hand in hand with his real life. It was like he was really playing himself, like Robert Downey Jr. in Iron Man 1, right? So Rocky 1 is just very special in a sense that it gives you that sense of struggle and triumph of a character who going through life, whose life is just beating him down, and he wants to get back up, wants to persevere, go through it, and become better and win at the end, or at least go to the distance. And that's what happened in the first one. He didn't win. He didn't win in the first one. He lost, but he went the 12th round. It was in the second one which he won against Apollo Creed. So the first one is my number one pick. Number 4 is the second pick. Rocky 2.
And Rocky 3, the last one.
I don't know. I might actually prefer Rocky 5 more than Rocky. Most people say the Rocky 5 is trash. You know, the Rocky 5 is the one when he trains the kid.
Yeah, Creed.
And he... No. After Rocky 4, after Drago, is where he comes across this kid in Philly, and he trains him.
I forgot about that movie.
Wait. Let's go.
He became a true champion of the world. Now, the glory. Because of the continuous violent blows to the head, the effects are irreversible. The crowds
My husband is tired. He has nothing more to prove.
and the money are gone. You lost millions. Look, you got my place, the old neighborhood. His title is in the hands of a new champion. He might win a few fights, but he's no Rocky Balboa. Controlled by an unscrupulous promoter. This is your medical report. It's not so good, but we can work around it. All that's left is his family. I've been down before. I'll get it all back. His heart. I gotta fight, okay? I got family, I gotta fight. And a dream. A dream to get it all back. This is a tremendous opportunity.
Opportunity for who? For you to make money for him to be disabled?
You know they can't carry Balboa subs. As long as they got Balboa on the brain, he'll always be champ. That's a challenge every man to fight. And if he refuses, then you gotta insult him. You gotta dog him. You gotta humiliate him. You gotta do whatever you got to do to get him into that ring. Tommy, you're a piece of garbage, you know that? No! That's it!
Jesus. Trailers back then were really tedious, you know? It hasn't improved. They gave away the whole movie. You know? Guys, first time I watched this film, I didn't see any trailers. And this kid comes along, you're like, oh, it's cool. He's gonna train him. He's gonna become the champion. The reason I liked this film was so much was that it kind of went back to the roots. Because Rocky loses all his money, goes back to his neighborhood. It's more about his family, his struggle with trying to keep the image up, trying to keep his legacy. And yeah, I really like this, bro. What did you think about this film? Do you remember it?
Nope.
You don't remember anything at all.
Nope.
So you haven't watched it, or have you watched it?
I've watched it, but
So I would put this, then Rocky 3, then Rocky Balboa.
Rocky Balboa.
Yeah. So what is your ranking? So Rocky 3 for me is the second to last.
Probably all the same. Just moving.
Rocky,
Rocky
3,
3.
to number 1.
Nah, number 2.
Which one is number 1?
Rocky 4.
Director's cut.
Yeah.
You like it that much?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it so much that you fell asleep during the first 20
I mean,
minutes?
but that was not the important scenes. Like the important scenes are kind of the fights and the training.
But it
and
was shorter than I expected. It was only 1 hour and a half. It was very direct, very simple. Even the plot. Right, it starts with the first the last 5 minutes of the last film. Goes to a scene of Drago knocking someone out, him killing Apollo, him going to Russia and training, and then having a fight. So it was very straightforward, very simple. So, but I gotta admit, the director's cut was really good. It was more modernized. Yeah.
It is
For
like
today's
still
audience.
more to the story.
Mm.
The first one was like very basic.
Mm.
This, and this. Done.
Yeah, yeah, I think it added a lot to it. I mean, but the last fight in this was very sick too, because they had a street fight in Rocky 5. Which one would you say was the best Rocky fight though in all the franchises?
With Mr. T.
That was the best Rocky fight to you.
Funniest place.
Rocky just eating punches, left and right.
Rocky's always eating punches. In every movie.
Yo, who's that kid? Who's the actor who plays that kid right now?
No idea.
Looks kind of familiar. Song.
I'm gonna put you through the street. One more round.
Doing illegal shots in the street. Is that Jamie Foxx? That looks like Jamie Foxx. It looks like Electro in Amazing Spider-Man 2. You know? Missing teeth. Huge gap. Suplex. Jeez.
WWE.
Johnny Bravo's getting his ass beat. Adrian! Should be dead by now, you know? The amount of punches they receive in those these films.
I recently got on the front page of Forbes magazine as one of the top.
What do you think about that?
About the advertisement, I don't know. I don't think that guy got on the page of Forbes magazine.
Wait, this move fails to its
Oh, I like the scene. Drago versus Apollo. You should read the comments.
Yeah. Yo, that scene, when that scene came out, did they extend that in the director's cut? Because I feel like it was a lot longer. You got James Brown dancing, you got Apollo Creed.
Maybe,
And it kind of-
because he said that there was like they were fighting, but there was a fight in the background between the other two guys.
Can't type.
Alright, time to go to school.
One day. Because that was a long entrance. Long entrance.
Oh, I like the entrance.
We actually
It's like the guy's going to get his ass kicked, but the entrance is huge.
I actually have the
That block.
where is it? Rocky. It's Rocky 1. Watch that.
Rocky 4.
This keyboard is a hit and miss, bro.
Rick and Morty season 5.
Should play the first one.
Cinderella, do you want to...
This isn't the director's cut, is it?
No.
Oh, let's see. We'll see the difference too. Because this scene, I found it was so interesting the way you portray, you know, Americans' way of fighting. You know,
Drago,
the
who
over the
doesn't-
top entrances and
he doesn't know what's going on.
yeah. Because I think they extended the scene by a lot. It's like, you see what I see? It says, don't, my wife is here. Yo, Adrian, don't look at me. And it was a long sequence too, you know, this whole dancing.
The whole song.
Yeah. I don't think even in real life no one has ever had as long of an interest as Apollo Creed in this film.
He's like, this guy is going to get his ass so kicked.
Yo, this scene was almost identical to the director's cut. And you know, he knew he was gonna lose when he touches gloves, you know?
I like that guy's mustache. So
course you do.
iconic.
Wait. You will lose. In the director's cut, Drago does that. Not. See?
Yeah. Goes down.
It's the other way. It's the other way, yeah.
Now he knows. Now he knows. Starts feeling it.
Yeah.
If you want to hook up with her, tell her you love her. That's how I would do it.
Yo, pause. Pause. That's so true. That's so true. I mean, girls are getting smarter every day and day, you know. But tell him you love them. That's fucked up. It's funny, but you can nowadays, you know. They can find you on social media. They're gonna find you, bro.
So you have 2 accounts.
Oh, baby, you're so good. Oh, yeah.
What are we watching?
Oh my god! Look at the detail. Here's a socket.
What the fuck? Why the fuck is he using a sock? I've never watched American
sock.
Pie. What
should
the hell
watch
is
it.
this?
That's why you should watch it.
Oh my days.
And you turn the volume up.
No, I think he's trying to watch some
He-
illegal channels here.
He was watching porn and his parents entered the room.
Right, time at one that place, not a space shuttle launch. That
Can't say I haven't been there.
tomorrow is some girl you gotta tell all your friends about.
No way. Hey, did you see how the Little Mermaid like the movie the other night? No, the Ariel man, she's so hot.
Well, this is the female form. Look at the expression on her face. She's going to be looking right into your eyes, saying, "Hey, big boy. Hey, how you doing?"
This little Junior European chick, naked, in your house. You're not gonna do anything about that? What am I gonna do? Broadcast her over the internet? Yeah.
He did.
Wait, he did?
Yes.
Oh my days.
More, you bad
but he fucked things up.
What happened there?
He finished too early. Way too early.
All that you gotta do is ask them questions and listen to what they have to say and shit.
Yeah, we've seen this, bro. We've seen
You must watch this movie. That's a
Yo,
must.
that's funny. All you gotta do is say you love her. I did that stupid shit once, you know? I hope the girl is not watching this, but... Okay, let's keep it between us, yeah?
Yeah, that's use.
I was 17.
Asha was 17.
Or was it 16? I don't know. It was the first year when I came to Manchester, right?
Wow, you were quite young actually.
Yeah. And, you know, I was a shy kid growing up. Back then I was a virgin. And, go to college. And, you know, you know, you go to college, right? You got your, what do you call that? Early morning class? Like for half an hour. Tutor with your tutor. With your class tutor. Anyway, they just say, oh, I'm present. I don't know, I forgot what he's called. So, there's the other chick. Right? This, okay, I'm not going to give any visual description, right? Just imagine, like a cartoon girl who's a nerd also, right? So, I don't know how... Oh, you're gonna give us a... example?
Like this.
Not as nerdy, but definitely quirky.
Like Taylor Swift.
Definitely quirky, right?
Like this.
No. Like the other picture, right? But her attitude and just the way she spoke and stuff like that, very quirky, right? I don't know how things ended up with us going on a date, right? It was winter 2016, if I'm not mistaken. And we go out to a coffee shop, right? This was back when I first started going facial hair. Had the few fucking strands. And we go there, we buy a Americano. Okay, bro, we get the picture. Stop messing with... Stop, I don't... Okay, you might hit the nail in the coffin with one of the photos and people can tell from my reaction. So let's just cut that out. So this is what happened. After the coffee shop, we go walk around town. We sit in the middle of Piccadilly Garden. It looked different back then. I don't remember exactly.
With
But
a
we sit-
big whale.
But it was dark. It was a dark night, but it was very busy. So, I don't know if I want to put this up. Fuck it. We sit on a bench. And she turns to me, she's like, oh my god, you're so cute. And she hugs me. And I just awkwardly just hug her back in a sitting position like this, right? And she has I have one hand over her. She has both hands grabbing me from under the chest, right? A couple of guys walk by and they're like, oh, look at that. That's so cute. Just, you know, making fun of us. And she turns to me. She's like, I love you.
Oh. What was your answer, Asha? Your answer will define you for the next 20 years.
I said, I love you too. But I gotta go. I said, I love you too, but I gotta go. My bus comes in 10 minutes. She's like, oh yeah, I'll come to your bus stop. Where do you live? I'm like, oh, I didn't want to give her my, I didn't want to tell her which area even I live. So I'm like, I live in Bury. I gotta take this bus. I didn't live in Bury, but the bus would go there eventually. So she's like, okay, let's get on the bus. You want me to come with you? I'm like, no, I just gotta go. I get on the bus. Get home, she texts me. I'm like, yeah, cool, good night. It wasn't very nice. Next morning, I don't show up to the tutor class, right? She texts me again the same day. I don't answer. She texts me the day after. I don't answer. From that day forward, she never showed up to the tutor class. It was fucked up. I understand. I was a kid. Just please go easy on me.
Forgive me.
Yeah, so it was funny, but it was fucked up. Because she says, I love you. And I was like, I love you. I love you too, but I think my mom's calling me. So, yeah, I didn't have the balls to be, back then, I didn't have the balls to be like, yeah, it's not going to work out.
Turn situations
And,
like kid situation. Oh,
Because it happens a lot where people just like ghost each other and they're not upfront. And I complain about it a lot from what I hear, the interaction between my friends, the situations they go through. So, I mean, once you're young, it's excusable because you're not mature enough to handle that, or you're just afraid, like I was back then. I didn't want to say that to her face, right? So I just ghosted her, and then she didn't ever show up in that class ever again, right? And I didn't ever hear from her again. So,
spoiler alert, she's dead.
but yeah, it's just funny when he said that because he's like, yeah, just say I love you. But it's crazy, bro. It's crazy because you got some girls who are like to the streets, and you got some girls like falling in love in 2 minutes. I mean, I'm sure she's not like that right now because she was young too. She was like 17.
2 minutes. Time.
Yeah, she was 1 year older than me. I was like 16. She was 17. So it was a funny interaction. It was fucked up what I did, but it was the only way. It was the only way I saw out
It
of
was
it.
the only way. I will keep that sentence.
You?
Put subtitles on it. It was the only way.
Have you ever had a situation like that?
No. That's a very awkward situation. Very awkward. Don't have awkward situations.
So what was the first time with you? What was the
The
first time you started? Not the first time sexually. First
You
time.
want details?
First time you went on a date with a girl. How was it like?
Awkward.
How old were you?
I don't know. I was in Spain, I think. But it was not really a date because we were just friends. I don't count that as
So
a
you
date.
were in a friend zone.
No, because we're just friends. Like, for me, just friends. I mean, I didn't like her
What do you mean friends?
because I didn't like her.
So it wasn't a date then.
No, it was having fun.
Did she look at it as a date?
I don't know.
What was it? Just tell me the situation.
It was we were preparing a project together.
What happened? Did anything happen?
No. We had fun.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Nothing sexual, sir. I was 13 probably.
Okay, let's fast forward. The next time you went on a date where the intention was clear.
Oh, the proper date. Wow, the intention was clear.
Yeah, like you go on a date not on a friendship basis. You just go on a date.
Oh, that was in Switzerland. But
How long
the
ago?
date was very awkward because I was trying to pretend to be like a gentleman. But it's like when
You're a gentleman, bro.
but everything went wrong. It's like I want to open the door for you, and I
Yeah,
forgot to read the sign.
start from the beginning. How did you meet her? Who was she? How did you set up the date and all that stuff?
Actually, she was one of my ex-girlfriends.
Babe. Wait, I don't understand. We're talking about the first time you went on an actual date. How is she your ex-girlfriend? Because that would mean you already
Yeah,
had relationships with her.
kind of.
Relationships
Just
with her.
at school. It was just kind of a school thing. So like going on a proper date is like, oh, we should go. I mean, we're boyfriend and girlfriend. We should go out. So we went out.
But this is the first time I'm hearing this concept. That's the equivalent of people who bang, have children. They're like, yeah, we should probably get married. But
Yeah, because we.
But it's for dating. I never seen anyone do that with
no, because
dating.
we were friends first, and then we.
How did
date.
that friendship develop into a relationship?
It's just one day she said to me, "I think I have feelings for you."
She said that.
Yeah.
And what happened then?
Not like you, sir.
She said, I love you. Now get on your knees. What happened then? What happened then?
I said I love you too. And-
Wait. Did you lie?
No, I didn't lie.
Yeah, you did.
No, I
You
didn't.
did.
No, I didn't. Hopefully, I
Yeah, bro.
didn't. Imagine I did.
Yes,
You don't date a girl for 2 years without loving her. That would be very weird.
Bro, I've known girls for like 5 years. I wanted to go deep inside, but I never will be like, yeah, I love you. Except that one time.
No. It was
So
true.
how was the first date then? How was the date?
It was awkward because I tried to be, oh, let me open the door for you.
Right.
Instead of push. It was pull. Me pushing.
Right. And how did that end?
She said, "You have to pull the door." It's like it's here, written here.
this story sucks.
Yeah, why you ask me that question?
I tried to push. So you have to push.
Put it back on the basket. That's it.
Okay, what happened then? What happened on the date? Was it a hot date? Did you just drank some coffee? Let's go to the hotel, my lady.
No, he's not really. It's like weird date because we went to watch a movie. Actually, I don't remember which movie it was, but it was a movie.
What? How long ago was this?
10 years ago.
How old are you?
24.
What the fuck? You wanna?
No, wait, no, it was less than 20 years. 10 years ago. It was maybe 8, 9. I was 17.
Well,
was
17. You're 24. That's 7 years ago.
7 years ago, sir.
Yeah, there's a big difference
Time
between
flies.
10 and 7. But
It's a big difference between 10 and 7. That's what a pedophile said.
that's what you said.
But you
What?
said. Wow.
But
That went wrong so quick. It's a bit
7 years ago, you went on this date
7 years ago.
in Switzerland. Okay, when was the date when you? When was the first time you went on a date as an adult?
I've never been on a date as an adult. It's always fun. When you go out with me, it's always fun. From start to end, it's always fun.
You have a girlfriend right now, right?
Yes.
Have you gone on a date with her?
No, because she's not here.
Yeah, long term, huh?
Long distance
You
relationship.
know what I believe. Those don't work. That's my belief, but you do you. I hope it works.
Fingers
and-
crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yes, might be future wifey. Who knows?
I
But
think
yeah,
so.
I've gone on some awkward dates. I've gone on dates where I'm like, yeah, because if you go on dates with girls who know their stuff, who are experienced, because I went on girls dates from Tinder, and girls like, yeah, they just feed you scraps, right? Oh yeah, you're cool, you're a cool guy, I can see, and just make out, text them, never answer, go to sleep with them, text back, never answer. It's same thing, because when you start dating, you don't know the rules, especially if you date someone who's seasoned. You're like a sheep among wolves. They're gonna
here.
tear you apart. So it's funny that my first experience in that area was with this chick in Manchester, like 5-6 years ago, and it's just I still can't believe I said that. But we all have to take our L's, and
We're back. We are back. We're back. We're going to talk about a controversial subject. And it's not sexual, for once.
yeah, it's not a
Aliens.
dirty
Do you believe in aliens? That's
Yeah,
first
bro.
question. Straight to the point.
Of course, but if we believe in the multiverse theory and unlimited possibilities and an ever expanding universe, in an unlimited world, the possibility that aliens don't exist is impossible.
I like that theory. I love that theory. It's one of my favorite theories, like the multiverse theory.
Yeah, not
Because-
even the multiverse, because I'm saying that just the idea that the universe is forever expanding, right? There's no end to it. That's what scientists said, because it's expanding. In that theory, with billions and trillions of or unlimited amounts of galaxies, the possibility that we are the only ones that exist is impossible. You know what I'm saying?
So what's your point of view regarding that? Have we had visits from aliens before?
I don't know, bro. Maybe we found some objects that belong to maybe something far, far away, drifting in our space, in our solar system, and we found it, or something was dropped onto the Earth. Communication with aliens, I doubt that.
that's that's something very funny. So, keyword alien. So every time we picture,
The alien.
I like this one. Look, it's pointing at you.
Yeah, it's both you and me.
Every time pictures aliens, like how an alien looks like, you'll be like big eyes,
Yeah,
Voldemort's nose,
yeah,
tiny mouth,
yeah,
very skinny, with a big head.
yeah.
So, if there is life otherwise on Earth, why they wouldn't look like us? Imagine, like, why they wouldn't look like us instead of looking like this. Like, that's kind of science fiction picture of an alien. Why an alien wouldn't look like us?
I mean, why would even an alien come here? So say, assuming that they exist in like a different solar system, because it can't be ours. Unless maybe Mars. Because
Oh, do you believe that Mars theory?
I'm not even saying anything. I'm saying that believing that they exist like in a different galaxy far away was to say that their conditions are the same as us. So if they've been evolved, their species have been evolved as according to their conditions. Let's say they don't need water, the planet is different, because we're adapted to our situation, right? Our environment. That's how we evolved. Assuming they evolved in a different planet with completely different conditions and different circumstances, they would look different, you know? They could be intelligent fucking rats
What if they are
with
not?
10 legs running
the
around on
opposite?
a planet named Uratus, or something like that. You know what I mean?
Red
So-
alien.
Yeah.
Splinter.
So they probably look different. I think that's more unlikely that they look like us.
I mean, they have like human features, like have two eyes, a mouth, and a nose, like kind of humans.
I mean, that's just trying to make it. I think that's just the media back when they started making alien films and stuff like that.
I
Trying to
wonder
make it
who
look
came with the
more-
idea, you know, the first aliens. Like, how do aliens look like?
Yeah.
They are green. Like, there's so many colors. Why they are not purple?
So for them to be aliens, we need to count them as intelligent. It can't be just any creature, right? They need to be intelligent,
do you
capable
think
of
this
thinking.
one was very intelligent?
I mean, if you think about his anatomy, that's what we're going with. Because the way humans have evolved, unlike any other species on Earth, is like they walk on their legs and they can use their hands. That's the first thing that makes them different. The capability to use their hands gave them access to be able to communicate through paintings, drawings, creating tools. That was the most important feature of humans, apart from their brain. Okay. So, assuming that's the case, if you wanted to draw an alien is associated with something that's intelligent in our language, okay? So we don't just call anything alien. We call immigrants aliens
Wow.
for this channel. We first call
Yeah.
it aliens, but
Hopefully you said that it's like we count as intelligent. Because
Yeah,
that
yeah,
could
I'm not
have
saying they
went
are.
wrong so badly.
I'm not saying they are.
So quickly.
I'm just saying. Always, we do this every time. Every damn time we do this. But assuming that's the case, they need to have human features, but they need to look drastically different from us.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So-
What if they have 3 eyes?
Yeah, they could have.
Like
probably.
Tenshin Han from Dragon Ball.
Maybe they have like 10 fingers,
Imagine.
2 penises, or 4 arms.
Wow. Which one do
Just
you
for
use?
stuff.
It's like, today feeling using the right one.
Maybe their female species got like 5 vaginas.
Wow. Rotating vaginas.
Maybe they don't even produce like that. Maybe they lay eggs. Just one big butthole. That's all they have.
Oh,
Lay
like,
giant eggs.
have you seen the chicken, like the one you squeeze and there's an egg that pops out?
Ah, no. I
It's
don't
like a
wanna see.
toy. It's a toy.
Yeah.
It's not a real chicken. Have you ever heard of Roswell? Roswell?
Roosevelt?
Roswell, yes.
No.
Let me show you, my friend. Roswell. Roswell. Roswell? in the desert.
What about it?
People believe that I'm very bad with dates, so I'm just going to read it. In 1947, a UFO landed in Roswell. And the government said first, oh no, it's a balloon, it's a satellite. They keep changing the story, so that's what people believe. That actually it was an alien that landed in there. And actually,
Me and my mom saw something crazy too. Like a while ago, I don't think I showed you. Outside our window, it was like late night, and there's something flashing in the sky, something super bright. She actually filmed it. It looked like a big ass drone. It didn't look like a helicopter. It didn't have any sound. It just looked like it was in the sky, just standing there, flashing. I'll show you afterwards. But I was skeptical, but it kind of looked like what you see in these crazy stories. And above this house. Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
Yeah, I mean, there's many people who said, "Oh, I've seen aliens." I mean, some of them are. I mean, there's the two sides of people: the people that you will believe that they indeed.
I mean, it was confirmed by U.S. government that they have foreign objects.
Foreign objects.
Yeah. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
You think there are people who know about the existence, like the U.S. presidents and higher ups?
Oh, there is a book about that, written by an Australian guy. He worked for the Secret Services, and he put on the book like there is a oh fuck, I forgot the word.
Object.
No, it's not an object. Like they have like rules. Like they are not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah, you think whoever becomes president, they have to let him know.
Imagine.
Yeah, like imagine Biden getting to the office. Sir, we need to let you know about a few things. First of all, starting with this. Now we get to UFOs. Sir, aliens exist. And Joe Biden's like, oh, you were saying.
Joe Biden. I don't like Joe Biden. He's like,
Yeah.
he's so old. Why did you?
Yeah. You think when they showed him the footage of the aliens, he was like,
He
"Sir,
fall
you need to
asleep
know
like
about
me
this."
yesterday. He definitely fall asleep. It's like, no, that's science fiction.
Yeah.
Aliens. What do you think people keep in Area 51?
I don't know, bro. But some secret weaponry shit. Foreign objects.
Foreign objects.
Yeah.
Everything can be considered foreign objects.
Foreign object. Interplanetary objects.
Interplanetary objects, like Men in Black.
Yes.
Have you watched Men in Black? It's a very good movie.
Yeah.
First one, at least.
But yeah, bro.
There's
I
no
think-
Men in Black
I
International.
think aliens exist. What do you think?
I do think aliens exist. And I do believe, like, there's so many people. There's a joke about it, like, probes.
Mm-hmm.
People get abducted by aliens and they put a camera on their rectum.
A rectum.
Rectum.
Rectum. Why?
You know what rectum is?
Asshole.
Yes. They put a camera. The buttways
Wow.
showing up.
Showing off their asshole, huh?
Rectum meaning. Actually, Alexa, what rectum means?
Rectum is usually defined as the comparatively straight, terminal section of the intestine, ending in the anus.
Thank you, Alexa. Very intuitive information. Yeah, but
Alexa was reading from the computer.
I didn't hear that.
oh,
Say
nothing.
that again.
Yeah, she's I think turned off now. Turned off. How many? So how many results? 131 million.
Only. Yeah, about rectum.
Wow. It's crazy how many articles there are. You know.
Roswell, New Mexico. There's some pictures.
You think? Let me ask you this though. Do you think humans have ever been to the moon, or was it staged?
Ooh, that's a good one. Actually, it was proven that they actually went to the moon.
How was it proven?
It was a guy, like, people said, oh, because the flag moves on the footage. So that guy created a vacuum
Right.
and he put a flag in there, and actually the flag would move even in the vacuum. So it doesn't prove anything. So all the things that they said, oh,
I watched
this,
I watched a interview with one guy who made the documentary about it, and he tried to
yeah, this,
prove, and he came with some valid points, like the line of shadows that didn't make sense.
Oh, you tell me, you're the filmmaker.
Because when you have a source of light, right, and it's close to you, let's say it's close to you, the shadow that it makes is different from a further source of light, like the sun, right? The shadow line is different. So, for example, if the source of light is close to me, and I move 2 meters ahead, the angle of the shadow is going to change, right? So if the shadow right now is at 90 degrees because it's directly above me, if I move there, it's going to go behind me if I move towards the source of light, to that direction, yeah? But when you're moving, when let's say sun is towards the east, right? You can stay there, your shadow is to your left.
Was the moon landing fake?
I mean, these are corridor crew reacted. They said it's unlikely that it's fake.
I mean, there is the theory that I like, is like the moon landing is
'Cause-
real, but it's at the wrong time. I like that one.
Because we haven't been able to land on the moon ever since then.
No, because we kind of lose our interest in the moon. It's like, what's the point?
That's the one.
My guest today is Bart Sabral, and you may remember him as the time where he approached Buzz Aldrin, and he asked him to put his hands on the Bible to swear as if they had landed on the moon. He went
Okay,
around
yeah,
talking to a lot of people.
that's a
I
good
think
idea.
there was even a documentary about it.
We can comment on this one. So, yeah, I've heard about this one. So
Mhm.
they asked Neil Armstrong to swear on the Bible that he has been in the moon,
Yeah.
and he didn't want to.
Hmm.
Uh,
Maybe it doesn't believe in the Bible, doesn't it
that's-
invalidate it?
No, that's not the thing. It's like if you go to a guy and
Yeah.
ask him, "Can you swear this on the Bible?" It's like it's going to be awkward.
Coming a little close. And then
I
Buzz
see.
Aldrin got upset and punched him in. If you've ever seen
Make
that
it
clip, that's the individual I'm interviewing today. He just recently wrote a book called Moon Man, The True Story of a Filmmaker on the CIA.
Look at the like to dislike ratio.
He was
6.9 likes.
Oh, that's another thing. They borrow
also
a
the
camera
infamous
from a
man.
really famous filmmaker
Hmm.
to record the moon landing.
Behind the, I'm sorry, the man behind the infamous funny things happen on the way to the moon. He does not believe we landed on the moon. He thinks it's a hoax, and a lot of other things are hoax. We're going to see if we can figure this thing out by the end of today's interview. Having said that, Mark, thank you so much for being a guest on Valuetainment.
Oh, this might be copyrighted.
It's fine. We just blur it out.
So, Mark, years have passed. Articles,
Blocked
videos,
55 ads.
many people,
Jesus.
powerful people have come out and said, Mark, you have no clue what you're talking about. Tell us why you were so convinced that the moon landing was a hoax, and what gave you this idea that it was a hoax?
Well, I grew up as the biggest supporter of the moon landings. My dad was in the Air Force. He was an officer. He got a packet at the time of the alleged moon
I don't
landings.
see why the guys
of
disagree.
Publicity, 9x12 color pictures. I had them up on my wall for 10 years. Saw them every day from the age of 4 to 14, which is 3,600.
I mean, I will get sick of it if I see it so many times.
I saw a
Yeah.
television show with this gentleman by the name of William Casing on it.
William
He
Kissing,
worked as a
I love that
contractor
name.
for Rocket
William
Company
Casing, I
Apollo
think he said.
program for 6
Kissing,
years.
say
He
kissing.
had very high security clearances because he would edit communications going from the top generals back and forth to correct their grammar and everything so they wouldn't look immature. And so he saw a classified memo from von Braun who said the odds of going to the moon successfully on the first attempt with 1960s technology was a 1 in 10,000 chance. And so he saw all these departments being shuffled around all the time just as soon as somebody got their full understanding of what they were doing, they would shuffle everybody around.
He's
They
getting
were doing
bald.
departmentalization so no one could see the full picture.
He's
because the
Iranian
equipment
too.
Certainly couldn't do it. I mean, here's the simplest proof. It's
The guy with the
simply
curly
logical.
hair.
What they're claiming is that they went
Yeah,
1,000
they
times
look like
farther
South Americans
than
too,
they
right?
can
You know
send
what I mean?
astronauts today.
Is it possible
50
we
years
kind of
ago,
like
the
mingled?
first attempt
Mingled sometime in the
was 1
past.
millionth
Yeah,
computing
somehow.
power of a cell phone. I mean, when they flew across the Atlantic.
Oh,
for
wait,
the
wait.
first
Pause
time,
that, pause.
A few
No, I'll
years
pause.
later, hundreds of air.
When America was discovered in 17th century, there was no one living in Peru or South American countries, right?
Yeah.
Or were the people already?
Yeah.
Rednecks, right? Is that what they call them?
No, rednecks are the ones that live in the countryside in North America.
Oh, so North America, okay.
Yeah.
So South America was discovered before North America?
No, they were discovered at the same time. Actually, I think South America was discovered before North America.
Right. Is it the same century?
I believe so.
And people, because if it was like a separate continent, they should have been speaking a different language.
They did.
What was the language?
Was their own language.
How was it
Right.
changed then? Was it by people immigrating from,
No, it
Syria?
was because Spanish and Portuguese went there. Oh, you don't speak the language. Okay. Are you now you're going to speak our language, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And you're going to believe in God.
yeah.
That's how it happened. Briefly.
Okay.
I know Spanish will disagree with me. They'll be, no, we were very nice to you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I need to do some research on that too. That's interesting. Okay, that's great.
Aircraft and thousands of aircraft were flying across the Atlantic. When they went to the North Pole and South Pole here on Earth, they never made it the first attempt. It took multiple times. And there's never been a technological achievement that no one could repeat 50 years later. It's like me telling you, 50 years ago, Toyota made a car that could go 50,000 miles on a gallon of gasoline. And yet today, 5 decades later, the best car can only go 50 miles per gallon or 1,000th the distance. You would laugh and say the original claim is preposterous. And so here we are 50 years later, and now the farthest they can send an astronaut to the moon is 1,000th the distance that they claimed to have done on the first attempt 50 years ago with less computing power than a cell phone, 1/1,000,000th of the computing power. It just doesn't add up. It's the only technological achievement that could not be repeated 50 years later. It never happened. It's also the only time that they deliberately destroyed a technology. I mean, the B-52 is 70 years old, and there's still 200 of them in service, and yet they admit they destroyed all the Apollo equipment, and they're claiming they have to go back to the moon and recreate it from scratch. They destroyed all the original videotapes, all the original blueprints. You would never do that if you really went. You would only do that if there was a fraud and you were trying to cover your tracks. So I started looking into it at a 14-year-old thinking, hey, maybe this guy's right. I was open-minded 14-year-old. And then 10 years later,
He was
I become a
open-minded.
filmmaker, and I was editing.
I don't want to know what he did. in
So what do you
college.
think up to this part when it says there's no way? Because the distance that they traveled 5 decades ago, they can't do 1,000th of that distance today.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Is like for what people from that project said is like there's theory, kind of admitted for a few people from their side, saying that they indeed achieved going to the moon with that technology, but not at that time. So there is like the real footage and the fake footage. So they had two footages from the moon landing. So there is a fake one and there is a real one.
Right.
So because there was a race against the Russians at that time, it was Cold War. It's like who is going to after the Cold War. So it's like who is going to be the best, the Americans or the Russians?
Mm-hmm.
They both wanted to go to the moon, but the Americans said, "Why if we just stage this?" And we said that we are right before the Russians.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is some people who say that if you have a telescope strong enough, you can see the flag, the American flag in the moon.
But can you?
I mean, I never tried because I don't have enough money.
Has anyone tried and claimed that it doesn't?
Not really. Not that it doesn't, like it does, yes, but not like it doesn't. So, like,
Saw it
that's the
10
thing,
years
is that
earlier.
there is an American flag in the moon.
Yeah.
How can you put that American flag in the moon if you never went to the moon?
I said, you
I see.
remember that guy on your show who said we didn't go to the moon? No. Called the San Francisco production office. I did. They said, hey, look, if you called 1 or 2 days later, we wouldn't be able to tell you because we're deleting all 10-year-old archives. So I called up the guy. He said, hey, you know, you're a filmmaker. You should do a film about this. I took off about 6 months. I found out that 2 of the 3 astronauts on the first mission never give interviews. I found out that the administrator of NASA resigned days before the first mission. It's kind of strange before you're putting this big feather in your cap. I found out that the Soviets had launched the first satellite, the first animal, the first man, the first woman, the first spacecraft, the first of 2 spacecrafts at the same time. And they spent 500 hours in space for every 100 hours in space, and they never went to the moon. And then I look at these shadows. You know, I'm a filmmaker. My job is to make fake scenes look real. And I can tell you from showing you one simple photograph that the moon landings are shot with electrical lighting. I mean, if you go out in sunlight, I can share my screen if you want. Shadows always run parallel. You and a friend go
Yeah,
out
that's what I
on a
was
sunny
mentioning.
day,
Oh, there is
and
a...
you'll see
Okay,
your
that's...
shadows will never
okay,
intersect.
I can
But in some of the moon pictures,
kind of
they are
say
taken
that's
90
wrong.
degrees.
Pictures to show
Kind
us,
of wrong.
explain what you mean by it.
Yeah,
Take a
let me
lead.
show
Let's see
that
what you
quick.
have. Let's and folks, if you're watching this right now, put a thumbs up if you believe moon landing happened. Put a thumbs down if you don't believe it happened. If the topic interests
That's why.
you, smash that subscribe button. But Bart, show us what you mean by this lighting.
So here is a picture that I took in sunlight. You'll see that the shadows, because the sun is about 1,000 times bigger in diameter than the Earth, that it casts shadows in the same direction over an entire continent, right? Here's a picture that NASA claims was taken on the moon, okay?
Show me the
Here
moon.
you see the shadows are from an object about 5 feet apart from one another. Here's the astronaut shadow going at 12 o'clock. Here's the shadow of a rock about 5 feet away. It's going at 9 o'clock. I mean, this is all the proof that you need that the moon landings are fake. My job as a filmmaker is to make fake scenes look real. I use electrical lighting all of the time. And when I looked at those pictures, 10 years after I had heard Bill Casey on television for the first time, when I was a professional filmmaker, I said, these things are guaranteed 100% shot in electrical lighting. I mean, there it is right here. This is all the proof that you need that we didn't go to the moon. And then, in the course of making a funny thing happen on the way to the moon, we found classified footage of them faking part of the photography right in front of your eyes. I can share that now or share that in the future.
Show it to us. Show it to us. You're on a roll right now. Let's see it.
Okay.
You just
Well-
messed up with our head today, but go ahead. You're on a roll.
Okay, well here is here's what I popped in this tape and what was on the label of the tape and what was
You upload it on
actually
YouTube.
the tape.
Hmm?
Of
You upload
course,
that
this
video
is
on
a
YouTube.
copyrighted film from me. A funny thing happened on the way to the moon. I popped in this tape and researching my film, and it said do not show to the public. Okay? Mind you, I had asked them for all the footage from just the first mission, figuring if they faked it, they were more likely to have made a mistake the first time they faked it. So I pop in this tape that says do not show to the public, right? And then I'm going to cue up the next shot of it here. And then I see this particular shot here of what is allegedly the blue Earth floating in space. Because at this point in the mission, they're supposed to be 130,000 miles away from the Earth. And this is allegedly with the camera up against their window, shooting the Earth far away, which it's not. They were on the rocket, but they never left Earth orbit. And what a surprise. Here we are 50 years later, and they still cannot send an astronaut beyond Earth orbit. Isn't that amazing? I mean, when,
Good question. When they were doing this, were you following the whole thing from the day they left to the day they landed on the moon, or no?
So
well, I
what's...
was only 4 years old at the
So-
time. I investigated
When was
this
it
30
from?
years after the fact.
Do you want to keep watching, or do you have something to say?
2 comments to say.
Yeah.
The first one is regarding the lightning. The lighting in space is different than the lighting on Earth because we have an atmosphere that changes the lighting. So that's one thing that could make think that that could be artificial light. It couldn't be. That's the thing. It's like it's not the same thing with a planet with an atmosphere that a planet without atmosphere. We had atmosphere and kind of the light.
But these
on Earth.
objects are really near each other. You know, it's like 2 meters away.
Yeah, still we are in outer space, so all the radiation.
So if the sun is like millions of miles away from this guy behind it,
It looks different, completely different. So if we didn't have an atmosphere,
right?
it will look kind of like this, because the atmosphere is like, if you take a glass, the light is going to be different if you put it in front of the light.
Right.
You change the light. So that's what atmosphere does.
So light diffraction, basically.
Yeah.
So it diffracts because of the atmosphere.
In space, you don't have that.
So because there's nothing,
It's nothing to stop this sunlight. So it's just that combination the astronauts have that will protect them from sun radiation. Because if you go out of space, you can't go like this. You're going to die. You have radiation. Actually, that's
see
one
when
of,
the left rocks, the shadow going towards the right. The right one is going towards the left.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, if you were a filmmaker, right? That's the first thing you would think about: lighting. The light, how to make something look far from your objective.
Has this been tested though? This theory that she said.
Probably.
In
I've
practice.
seen many theories. Like there is another one that when the astronaut put a foot on the moon,
Right.
there is moon dust, and they're like, how can it be moon dust and move if there is no wind
Yeah.
in the moon? But it has been proved that if you throw something in the vacuum, it will happen. The same happened. So that's not something that will really prove. But that's the thing. It's like the moon,
Because it's vacuum, but there's still gravity.
but the moon is very small
Yeah.
compared to
It's
the
very
Earth.
dense.
It's very, very small. And the second thing is that the moon is reflective. That's why we can see the moon at night. It reflects the light of the sun.
Yeah.
So that's, for him, that's like, oh, that's the proof. That's, for me, it's like, it's not really the proof. I mean, it's more proof to me that the flag moves, or dust, something that you cannot reproduce. If you cannot reproduce it, then it's fake. And the thing is, Elon Musk wants to send people to Mars because he has the technology for it.
Yeah. Okay, let's skip to this part.
Have to be. If this is really the Earth floating in space, then they have to have the camera's lens up against the window in order to shoot this, right? Here he is claiming, first he claimed that the lens of the camera is up against the glass to shoot this. This is allegedly the Earth floating in space, and this is space around it. But you'll see in a minute, this is really the circular window of the spacecraft with a section of the Earth outside of it, and the camera's pulled back at the back of the spacecraft with all the lights turned off, all of which they talked about because they thought these private conversations would be edited out. Let's take a listen of him claiming that he's 130,000 miles away from the Earth or halfway to the moon.
This is Apollo 11. Calling in from about 130,000 miles out.
Okay, so right now he's claiming that this is 130,000 miles out, that this is the Earth floating in space, right? And that
Sexy.
He doesn't give a shit.
he has the camera up against the window's
I think he's
glass.
taking
So
notes.
let me try to put
I
these
think that's
side
what
by
he's doing,
side.
right?
Okay.
Because people
So
actually
here he
complain
is.
in the comments like, what the fuck are you doing? Texting people, yeah, see? But I think he was taking notes, honestly.
The thing is, like, he was
Claiming on
taking
the
notes
left-hand
before
side.
because writing them down.
That this is the Earth floating in space, and he also said that the camera is up against the glass of the window. But look on the right-hand side, where the recording they thought stopped, but it kept going. They also say on the tape that this is for playback later, meaning it's not live like they claimed. Now take a look at the image on the right-hand side instead. Okay? So here you see the real position of the camera. This is the footage that we uncovered that they said at the beginning, do not show to the public. This is proof that they're faking being halfway to the moon. Here's a work light inside of the spacecraft. They put a crescent piece of material inside the window to make it look like the Terminator line between night and day. Here they are removing part of that. Those are the astronauts in front of the window removing. This is a 1-foot model of the Earth. You see that? Then we see the iris open up, and we see the real location of the camera being at the back of the spacecraft. You see that? So they just faked being halfway to the moon. See, this is really the window of the spacecraft.
I don't understand
We enter
what he's
orbit
saying
with
right now.
bright Earthshine coming through, but over here they claimed it was the Earth floating in space. Do you see that?
I
have
think
the
both of them are
unedited
fake.
Version. That's why it said at the beginning of the
Both these
film,
footages.
Yes.
do not
Why?
show this to the public, right? And
Because what
they're
you should
claiming that
see
they're
when you're
100%
out out in space is what you
Well,
see, like when there
Bill
is
Casey
a
believes
clear
a
sky.
whistleblower from
Mhm.
NASA
Stars
sent it
everywhere.
to us. So basically, 3.5 years.
There's no
into the
stars, you don't
7-year
see the stars.
project of
There's no
making it
stars in
anything
there.
happened on the way to the moon,
Mm.
I discovered
I will
this
go
footage.
from there
This
because
footage
not
of the
from
crew
that
of
the
Apollo
Earth is
11
fake. It's because there's no
faking
stars
being
around.
halfway to the
Yeah.
moon. Now, why are they faking being halfway to the moon?
So
Because
anywhere,
they cannot go
is that a fact?
halfway to the
Like,
moon.
do you have to see
If
the
they
stars?
could really go,
Yeah.
we'd be seeing the real Earth.
Even
out
when
the
you're on
window,
Earth and
they
you look
wouldn't
at
be
the sky,
faking a
with a
1-foot
clear sky, you
model
can
of
see
it
the
like
whole
they're doing now.
sky full of
So if they're
stars.
faking
Yeah.
being halfway
You
to
will
the moon,
have
it
the same
means
view
they
from
cannot
space,
leave
even
Earth
better.
orbit.
I mean,
Now,
that's
what
what
is
astronaut
surprised,
says, that the
50
most
years
beautiful thing they
later,
ever seen
they
is the view from
cannot
space.
leave Earth orbit. It's largely
Hmm.
because of the radiation
Maybe
field.
because the
Camera was shit.
yeah, the shutter speed, they had to lower it to grab as much. I don't know what I'm saying. Let's just keep going.
that starts at about 1,000 miles up that they would have to go through in order to reach the moon. That radiation field is 25,000 miles thick. And the only time in history that someone has said to have gone through it was the Apollo astronauts to the moon and back. And NASA's own Kelly Smith says that the technology to go through that radiation has yet to be invented. I can show you a clip from that if you'd like. Alrighty?
We are headed 3,600 miles above Earth. 15 times higher from the planet than the International Space Station.
Now, what he's talking about is when they send an unmanned probe into the middle of this radiation field.
As we get further away from Earth, we'll pass through the Van Allen belt, an area of dangerous radiation. Radiation like this can harm the guidance system, onboard computers, or other electronics on Orion. Naturally, we have to pass through this danger zone twice, once up and once back.
Just like they did when they allegedly went to the
But
moon.
Orion has protection. Shielding will be put to the test as the vehicle cuts through the waves of radiation. But Orion has protection. Shielding will be put to the test as the vehicle cuts through the waves of radiation.
But Orion has protection.
I can't believe he did it slow.
So
So he's saying that the radiation doesn't allow humans to go past it.
Radiation levels for scientists to study. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space.
So Mark, here we go.
Okay, so the point about this is you can edit some of that out. I didn't. Basically, he's saying we must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space.
I have a new theory.
So basically, the guy just said,
What
What?
if the technology used to go into the moon was alien technology? That's why they decided to burn all the evidence, like, we cannot let this out. Otherwise, you're going to make it look like an accident. Like,
replicated, they'll use them, replicate it, and
yeah.
think they have, and they're just not using it.
Wait. When was... I'm very bad with days. When was the moon landing? Alexa,
1969.
when was the moon landing?
Apollo 11, the first manned mission to land on the moon, landed on July 20th, 1969.
69.
During this mission, American astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became, respectively, the first two men to walk on the moon. The last manned mission
Okay,
to
Alexa,
the moon
Alexa,
in
Alexa,
1972.
Alexa. Shh, it's fine. When was the Roswell incident in New Mexico?
1947.
Here's something I found on the web.
Thanks.
According to ufologist.com, the Roswell incident took place in Roswell, New Mexico on July 7th, 1947. when an
4769. It adds
Yeah.
up. They found the technology.
Hmm.
They used the technology that they were not allowed to use. So it could kind of make sense.
Nobody
If,
use it though if they don't understand it.
but that's the thing is that you don't really need to understand. They said that
Because
okay,
the spaceship was in the shape of a UFO,
that's what people believe that was on
unidentified flying
Roswell.
object.
They had debriefs of an object that you can cut it, and it will regenerate.
Damn.
That's what people like the people who had those debriefs said regarding those debriefs.
Hmm.
That you can cut through it and it will just regenerate. If you had people smart
It's
enough, they
crazy if that's real, you know.
could- I want
That's
a car like that.
That's some Tony Stark shit, you know.
Kind of, yeah, nanotechnology.
Yeah. Okay, let's see.
That the technology to go through the radiation belt has yet to be invented. First, he called them dangerous radiation. This was from an unmanned probe, I believe it was in 2016, the Orion project. Okay? They sent an unmanned probe up there with 2 Geiger counters. They said it's dangerous radiation, and he said we must solve these radiation challenges before we send people through this region of space. Meaning that technology to send human beings through the radiation field has yet to be invented. You see that? So I call up NASA. I said, let me talk to this guy. I'm a journalist. He said, oh, no, he didn't talk to journalists anymore since he made that mistake. And I said, well, send me the Geiger counter readings, right, of the radiation belt. And they said, that's classified. I said, wait a minute. You sent probes to the sun to find out how much helium is in the sun. Those measurements are just nature. They're not classified. You sent probes to Jupiter to find out how much hydrogen is in Jupiter's atmosphere. That's just nature. So why would the amount of radiation in this radiation belt surrounding Earth, why would those measurements be classified? Because if they released them, it would prove that they're deadly and they cannot go to the moon. So basically, I found this footage and making a funny thing happened on the way to the moon, and it proves that they're basically faking being halfway to the moon right in front of your eyes. And then we have the audio of the CIA telling them how to do it because they're still in Earth orbit. So if the radio signal goes up and back from 250 miles up, they'll answer the question
does he-
right away. But
do we
that
hear
would
that?
away the fact that they're not 130,000 miles away, as they claim, because it would take the radio signal more time to go out and come back. That astronaut, a month or so later, she calls your phone, and I'll play it for you now. And there you have it. You want to call the CIA and have him whacked.
How does he know this footage is real?
Bring it up to me.
It's just out of the blue and it's on YouTube.
That's the voice of the astronaut and his son talking inside their house.
Which astronaut, Collins or Armstrong?
That's Edgar Mitchell.
That's Edgar Mitchell's voice.
Yeah.
Colin from
question is,
CIA,
if I'm
got them
silly-
whacked.
Where did you get that audio of Edgar Mitchell, what he said?
That was in 2003.
And what'd you do with that audio?
Well, we put it in the film, the follow-up film called Astronauts Gone Wild.
No, did you ever give that to the... Did you ever approach anybody and you know, share it with, you know, the cops or anybody just to say, here's what was said, or no?
No, however, when my source, okay, about naming the base...
So he's
okay,
saying
okay,
that when he started researching, looking into this, Edward Mitchell's son in 2003 was like, let's call CIA, have this guy back to him. Because of he's looking into it, asking questions, apparently,
Yeah, but that's the other thing. Is
allegedly.
like, what if everything we know,
Yeah.
everything we know was a lie? Have you never thought about it?
Probably.
Like, even
for the
history is a
military
lie.
base.
History has
And the
definitely
Olympic
been twisted and changed like countless times, multiple times. You probably don't even know.
Actually, I got one thing that I was surprised about. Is like every country has a different history.
Yeah.
regarding like if you see it from the outside,
Mhm.
you're foreigner. The history that the foreigner knows regarding
Yeah.
this country is
Like
different.
what you hear in Iran, what they teach you in history class, and you can read about the same timeline in UK, and it's going to be different. It's going to be different
It
details.
is.
And dates, the dates are the same, but the context
The
of the
context is
events
so
that
different.
happen
Like
is
that
always different.
one for once is an ally, and for the others is an enemy.
So when we will we ever know the truth about what happened in the past, like the history?
Unless you have a time machine.
Probably not. Or a what do you call it? The Assassin's Creed. Animus.
Animus.
Have an animus access your DNA
Yeah.
memory,
Wow.
but probably most like 90% of our history is like tampered with.
That's the thing. Is
Yeah.
like someone says once that history is written by the ones who win the war,
Mm-hmm.
not by the losers. Let's continue.
People who were there at the time, some of whom are still alive today. Okay. And
Would they do that
I'm-
in this technological century though? Because everything is recorded, everything is online. They can't hide it unless if they want to go full North Korea.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Yeah, if they go full North Korea and censor everything that they don't want.
You remember the Snowden incident?
Which one?
Jonas Snowden.
No.
So Snowden kind of discovered that the NSA is not even the CIA, it's not the FBI.
Mhm.
So there is another company,
Organization, yeah.
organization called NSA,
Mm-hmm.
National Security Agency.
Yeah.
They had a software that can listen and say like this person is talking about this. Let's listen to the conversation to this person.
Yeah, they're probably listening right now. Like, oh, these two nobodies
That's
talking
the
about.
that's the thing. That's the thing. It's like that's some people. It's like oh they just change this technology and they use it to for Google use this
Yeah, I
technology.
mean,
You know.
it's one or the two, one or the other way. So it's either impossible for them to mask it because of this technological advancement, or they have full control of it and they control what the truth is.
Yeah, that's the
And that's
thing.
what's happening today in like Western countries, right? If the media is in the same side as the government, like for example with World Health Organizations, if they'll tell you, oh, this sickness is going to kill you, and media's amplifying that, the government's saying, oh, this is coronavirus 2.0, it's going to kill you, everyone has to get a vaccine. If you don't, you can't get a job, you can't go out in public without doing this, without doing that. They control what the truth is, right? So that's a way of censoring it by taking access from the citizens and saying what is right and what is wrong.
That's the
So
thing.
if they have a monopoly on these different organizations and they
I
can
think they cannot
censor
do.
information and they can brand the information, any other information that doesn't agree with them, if they can brand that as false information like they're doing right now on all these social platforms, like blocking people who have a different opinion, they can control what the truth is.
Oh,
they
that's
can-
the thing. Is like you don't block them. That's
Yeah.
not how it works in our world.
You
just make them-
invalidate them by
Yeah.
saying, by proving the opposite.
Oh,
through
it's like this
any way
person
you
is
can.
dumb, so don't listen to this person.
Yeah. Like Joe Rogan is like, I don't want to take vaccines. Everyone is against him, right? Oh, you don't want to take vaccines? Are you saying people shouldn't take vaccines? He's like, no, I'm just saying for me, natural immunity, which is a fact, which is
It is a
if
fact,
you
yeah.
get, if you heal on yourself,
But it takes
that's
time.
gonna, yeah, if you get a virus and you heal on yourself without taking any medication, your immune system, technically, that's a fact, gets used to that. So it has a natural immunity against that disease,
Not
which
really.
is
So
not
I'll
that.
explain that one very quickly.
Okay, go ahead.
So our immune system is immune
Yeah.
against any disease, known and unknown.
Okay.
So there's like many little cells in our body. So our antibodies are going to check those cells to see which one is the antidote to the
Mhm.
virus we have. So in our body we have the antidote for coronavirus, but our body takes time to check every single kind of file inside our body saying, okay, this is not coronavirus, this is not coronavirus. When it finds it, it makes us immune.
Yeah.
But our body has already that immune system.
Yeah. So basically what Jorgen was saying was that, oh, my body healed on its own. Now it knows how to combat this disease. There's no need for me to take the vaccine, which is factually correct statement to say. And the media was like jumped on him and they tried to change the narrative as like, oh, he's advocating for not taking a vaccine. And it's gone to the point where everyone is against him, right? The media, CNN, the government, everyone's like, yeah, don't do that, guys. Don't do that, children. Go take your vaccines. Be a good citizen.
Oh, it's
Just-
everywhere. Take the vaccines
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, and they're doing some crazy shit. Have you seen the ads where they give you, I send it to my friends, free prostitutes if you take the vaccine? They're gonna,
Where?
it's not in the UK.
Wow.
It's not in the UK, but they offering so much just for you to take the vaccine. And it becomes so much that it's not that you're anti-vaccine and you don't want to take the vaccine. It's like you want to take the vaccine, but you're also against the government having this much say so in what you want to do and what you don't want to do.
What is freedom?
Yeah. What is freedom? Exactly. So
We think we're
it becomes
free, we're not.
then it becomes the point becomes you don't want to do it because of that freedom aspect of it, because of that choice aspect.
Yeah, some people are like, I don't want
Yeah.
to take it because I'm free.
Or
That's the
just
point.
or don't want to take it because if I take it then I'm giving power to them. So if they're willing to do this, who's to say they won't do something more drastic in 10 years time? So it's like small steps they're taking.
Oh, I like
see
the
what I'm
example
saying?
of Google. Good old Google. I love Google. I think like their system is very smart.
Yeah.
If you want to create a Google account, you must have a phone number.
Yeah.
It's like a must. You cannot create a Google account without a phone number.
Mhm.
And they make you do so many things nowadays. Like for whatever you want to do, even if you just want to watch some movies, they will ask you, "Oh, you need an email to log in."
Yeah.
What if you don't want to have an email?
Yeah.
They
So the
force
future
you to do
idea
it.
could be very nice or very scary depending
Black
on how.
Mirror.
On how, and there was a famous saying, the country that its government is afraid of its people is a good country. But if it's the other way around, where people is afraid of its government,
Which
that's a
government?
dictatorship. You know what I mean? So it's like the power shouldn't tilt much towards either side. So if the power is like 90 to 10 in favor of the government, and they literally can control what you can and can't do when it comes to certain things, like, oh, you don't want to take the vaccine? Okay, we have this legislation. You can't buy a car now. You can't have this job. You can't do this. You can't be in contact with your children because you're putting them in danger. Because what we say is that, oh, if you don't do this, then you're at risk of getting the disease and giving it to everyone. And then it becomes very gray, So if they can do that, and they have the power to do that.
Depends who
who's
is
to
in
say-
power.
Yeah.
Everything comes to who is in power.
I mean, governments is run by people. And people, what we know is that anyone can get corrupted. Anyone will get corrupted if
That's
they're
why
in power
Donald
for
Trump
too long.
won the elections.
We're getting off the rail, but it's just when you think about what's happening right now, that lets you know what could happen in the future.
Yeah, it could
And
be
Black Mirror is a
Black Mirror.
is a
yes,
possibility
definitely.
now. Because you asked me 4 years ago, I was like, maybe 1 in a million we could go that direction. You ask me today, 1 in 100.
We should
The-
go down
the port-
one day
Yes,
and
So-
do a podcast regarding is Google listening to us?
probably. Who knows?
I can prove it to you.
Yeah.
With this laptop, with my phone, that
Okay, let's
Google
see.
is kind of listening to us.
Yeah,
Because my domain is cybersecurity,
yeah.
and there is some little things that don't add up for me.
Okay.
Example, there is port. So not like USB port, but like if you want to connect to the internet, you need a port to connect to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
There is a port run by Google that you cannot close.
Okay.
Even if you try deleting it, you cannot close it. It's always there.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're not using Google, it's there.
So port is a link that connects you to the web, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
It's what allows you to connect to the internet safely.
So the port doesn't close even when you turn off the internet?
If you cut the internet, yes, because there's no connection whatsoever. But at the moment that you have internet,
Okay.
that port still open. But that's the thing is that what that port does is what kind of needs to be a little bit more investigated.
Yeah.
Maybe that port is the port that's connected to microphone 24/7 and listens to everything you say.
Yeah.
That's why when some people say, "Oh, I like to
And it
have
might
some
never
shoes."
it might never get investigated because monopolies. When you're a monopoly, you
No,
control.
but you could investigate it.
I mean, you could, but they're not gonna. The powers that are at the legislative top of the food chain, right? Let's say people who set the rules
It's
in
like
this
Apple.
country. They're the same people who are the richest, the most control, you know, social media, all these things. So if you're the CEO of Google or CEO of Facebook,
You don't want that to be out on the wild, because if that's out of the wild, your business goes down.
yeah,
But the thing is, for Google, it's like they can't take the risk, because if you don't have Google, what are you going to use?
Bing, Bing.com.
Bing.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, bro? We'll have this chat in like 20 years, see where we are at.
With grey hair.
In 20 years? You're still gonna be young, bro.
40?
44? Yes, vale. Coffee or chai?
I'm alright. Just have.
هیچی نمیخواد. Merci. But yeah, let's continue this.
Let's
Named
continue.
all of this. I confirmed this with that person's surviving family member. And when I did that, a couple of days later, their house was broken into. Even though they had a security system with cameras, they were somehow disabled. Somehow they knew their password. Everything from their house
That's the thing.
about their relatives'
know everything.
involvement
Yeah.
in the military and at the space was confiscated. And 2 or 3 days after that, they were visited by 2 government agents who threatened them and their family members with death if they ever spoke to me again. At that point, I contacted the White House press secretary. I contacted the United States Senator on the Select Intelligence Committee. And I contacted the FBI. Near
This
where
guy
this
got some
person
nice
lives,
contacts. He knows everyone.
protection. I mean,
How the hell do you
it's a
contact
very
them?
serious thing. You have to understand, Ralph
Yeah, I got
No,
his
it's
phone number and my
contact
contacts.
FBI,
Yeah.
in the 60s.
Should be with
Unsafe
F.
and
Yeah,
FBI.
security at the
Right?
White House, right hand man of the US
And
president. Yeah, let me just
CEO
give him a
of
text.
General Motors,
Hey, buddy,
James
wanna have a
Roach,
beer?
admitted
Let me send
that he
him
had
some dick
Ralph
pics on
Nader
Snapchat.
trial with former FBI agents.
Bro.
Simply to not spend money to put airbags in cars. So if I am exposing the most horrendous government fraud, at least emotionally to the public, I think they might keep up with me and my sources. And that's why I was drugged. That's why this person's life was threatened. That's why all these things happened.
Did he just say I was drugged?
I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
really wish we went to the moon. Our world would be a much better place. That people didn't have their emotional attachment. I mean, it's like a religion.
I have
to
a
people.
fucked up
How
question. You think
dare
if he was a woman
Wow.
and
I would say yes.
he would saying the same thing, he would have more of an audience.
It will have more of an audience because it's a woman, obviously. For some reason, but for not the
Would
right
people
reasons.
be more inclined to believe her because they believe all women?
Not really because of titties. that would be definitely my answer.
Aye.
Because of titties. That's why.
Aye. Yeah, we're getting off the rail
you
again.
say
This.
that the great
We will
moon landing
always
took
get
place?
off the rail.
You know, it's unbelievable. We right now we know. Hey there, the day before the fire. Why would they kill these 3 men and then later fake the moon landing? Because he wouldn't cooperate. Here's now 15 will have 20 times in a row. Remember, what the government says is generally the exact opposite of the truth. They're trying to tell you that there must be life everywhere, but these 2 books show you there shouldn't even be life on Earth. That it has to be.
Oh, he doesn't believe in
There's
aliens.
no other explanation for it. Things don't make themselves. Cars don't make themselves. Look at our body. All the compartmentalized organs doing their job. The ear. It's obviously designed. Now, whether you can
We were created by
understand it or not
celestials.
doesn't matter. Intellectuals get so prideful. They say, well, if we can't comprehend it, it must not be true. Well, my dog, I can open the hood of my car and say, this is the alternator, this is the starter. It will never understand a spark plug. But it doesn't mean that the engine wasn't designed by an intelligence higher than itself. So the fact is, logic says they didn't go to the moon. Because it doesn't make sense that they could go 1,000 times farther than they can go today, 50 years ago, with 1 millionth the computing power of a cell phone. That's completely illogical. It's the only time in history that technology went backwards. It's the only time in history that a technological claim couldn't be repeated 50 years later.
You have an audience of two people here outside of you now.
That's not true.
From
What about the
beginning of
pyramids?
interview to today, Eric, does he have you at all convinced that there's a
That's
possibility
the conversation
that the
fun
landing
of the
never
day,
happened,
bro.
moon landing never happened? No, he hasn't changed your mind? So you think it did happen?
I think it's like more likely that it did than it did.
More likely that it did instead of didn't. This is a Marine, by the way. George, you don't believe it ever happened. So we're 50-50 right now. We're 50-50.
Yeah, but he also has not watched. I would guess. Ask the believer if he's watched the funny thing happened on the way to the
Have
moon.
you seen the funny thing happen? George, you've seen it before? George, have you seen it
Is
before?
it because
or
the
no?
camera
You've
froze
never
on the
watched
way
it.
to the
The
moon?
one-
Something
There
like
you go. Well, 4 out of 5 people who previously thought that the moon landings were real, reversed their opinion after watching a funny thing.
So then how about we do this? How about we put the link to both the documentary and your book below for people to be able to go order for themselves.
But the thing is, all you got to do is put up Sabrel.com. They can order the book. The book is interactive. The book has 15 video links in it.
I will believe in this guy if the book is free.
Basically, I do a chapter.
But I don't
so
think
say,
the book
look,
is free.
stop, watch a funny thing
Go
happen
to
on
the
way
link.
to the moon.
Maybe you
Zero
might
watch
just charge you
that.
for the shipping. I don't know
Stop
what they're
watch
doing
that.
nowadays.
Stop watch.
Let's see,
NASA
let's see.
admit that technology to leave Earth orbit does not yet exist. Watch
Hello,
NASA
friends.
admit
That's a fancy
that they
website. You
destroyed
probably
technology.
dropped a few grand
I mean,
on
imagine
designing it.
Bill Gates spending $200 billion to
Dun,
build the first computer, and
dun.
when he was done,
Da
putting
da
all the
da
hardware, the
dun.
schematics,
I
all
cannot
the
see. I don't
rest
have my
of it
glasses. I'm
into the
far
power
away.
plant. It
It's.
would never happen.
Let me see.
They should have done that with the atomic bomb, but they didn't. So why would they? If
15
they really
pounds.
went to the moon and spent $200 billion
£7 if you want
in
a Kindle.
Why would they throw that away? They
That's the
would
thing.
never
Like,
do
I
that.
believe a
The
guy
fact
is
that
like,
they did
if
is
I
proof
said
that
to
they
you,
didn't
I
know,
think
because
that
if
is
they really
wrong,
went,
but I
they'd
want to
never
offer
do
you
it.
for free.
And if they were covering up
Because
the
I want
problem,
everyone to know
that's
that
what
this
they
is
would
wrong.
do. So there you go.
Not like I want to know everyone that this is fake for a
Why would
price.
he have food on the table, you know? Why would he put food on the table if he has no money? Maybe that's the
Yeah,
only
but he
way.
has his job.
You know, that's the fucked up part. Because if you monetize anything, then
and it's always a good thing. We're gonna put the link below to your website.
if you monetize anything, people have the right to question your sincerity.
Yeah, but you can
Because you have
monetize.
motives then. You have motives in.
Yeah, but you can monetize a YouTube video, but it doesn't mean that you're taking money from people in that way. When you watch a YouTube
It's
video,
different from a YouTube video. Because a YouTube video, you can say anything. Unless if you're like, let's say, agreeing with a statement or making a video about a public matter or a trend just to get the views. But if you're just talking about something and you're telling your opinions, regardless, it's going to get the views. Regardless, it's going to be monetized, right? Unless if it's going to be blocked by fact checkers or something. But what I'm saying is that when you monetize something, let's say you have a book about, I don't know, financial growth. I don't know, whatever. And you monetize it, and you're
but
like,
I want to see.
and you're like,
Let's put it that way. Let's
and you're
see,
like,
let's-
I wanna teach you how to not be poor. I wanna teach people. People are gonna be skeptical. I'm like, really?
but that's the thing. It's like
Yeah,
depends what
because
the price
if they
you put on
if
it.
they it's about advertising too. If they're like upfront, they're like, yeah, I'm selling you this book because I worked hard towards gaining this knowledge. But if they're like, oh, my only mission in life is to help people, and my goal is to change 1 million people's lives and make them richer. That's all I want. I don't care about the money. Then you're changing then you're making us question your sincerity and authenticity.
Okay, I can question sincerity depending on the price you put. So, let's go on Amazon.
That's I don't think that's
Let's check how much is a Bible.
Bible.
No, a Harry Potter movie. Let's say a Harry Potter movie, a Harry Potter book.
Go on, put it in.
I have the keyboard. I have the power.
I don't think it's the same though. I don't think it would make any difference.
Book. So this one is 15 quid. If you want a Harry Potter book, is dun, 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 dun,
Wait,
zero.
what? I'm gonna buy this. £0?
Look, paperback. So if you want to buy a Harry Potter book, it's 5 quid. If you
Mm.
want to buy a book from this guy, it's 15. It's
No,
3
but
times
books
more.
are way more expensive. I don't know why.
J.K. Okay, let's try another book.
Oh, it's free on Audible. That's all.
27, but I mean, I understand why. Because of the cover, obviously. That one The book 6 is 11 quid. And the guy is selling his book for 15, so it's kind of more than a normal book should cost.
I don't think we can judge it by that. That's too vague. The pricing. But let's see. Have you seen this video? VFX artist react to the moon landing. Have you watched it?
No.
Zoom in. Come on, hey, I'm gonna tell you something. Hey. This looks fake. Welcome to this artist in there, because it's VFX.
Alright, so we're going to pull up the Apollo 11 documentary where they basically took all the archival footage from the moon landing and IMAXed it. We're going to watch these shots and we're going to take a look at them as special effects / visual effects artists. How would we do these shots, or are they even possible? Why or why not? Let's jump in.
I love our hats.
I like that guy. I love our hats.
Nature work, dude. Rear projection.
Little shots like this, you could fake this shot. You
Yeah.
could fake this shot.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a shot. That's an actual 3D surface down there. You might say, well, he built a miniature. So when you're filming stuff in miniature, there's a very, very shallow depth of field.
If it's a small object and you're using a normal sized camera, basically you get extreme depth of field. Things become out of focus very quickly. And it's hard to compensate with that. The only way to do that is to stop down to an extreme level like an f/22 and then blast it with something brighter than the sun.
Let's see how long the shot goes on for. This shot is still going.
Whoa.
Okay, it just got way more impossible. There's no lights in the ceiling. So if you built this whole thing in miniature, and your camera's this big, you're looking at least a football field size.
They didn't
stage.
build it
It's
in
actually
miniature.
built in
That's
real
real size.
because it's all shaded. The sky is black. There's no blue spill. This is all lit from a single light source.
Dude,
So
space lasers.
the ceiling would have to be so high, and the light would have to be so bright to cover this entire area in an even wash of light. Because otherwise, you're gonna have a hot spot, whichever is closest to the light.
Well, that's the other thing is that, like, in order to actually evenly light a whole bunch of stuff, it would just be too soft. You wouldn't have any sharp shadows like you see on the moon. And when you do get the sharp shadows, they're going to be at angles. They're never going to quite get parallel unless you literally throw millions of miles into the mix.
Yeah.
If you guys like these videos and you like this channel and you want to get more, consider subscribing to quarterdigital.com. It helps us out, helps you out, to make better content by doing so.
I want to see the actual footage of them running across the moon because people are like, oh, you can just slow down the footage. Slow motion. That makes anti-gravity, right?
Look at these goofs.
These guys are moving in slow motion. That guy sure didn't move that slow.
Exactly,
He dipped out at regular
exactly.
speed. Once again, if these guys are on Earth, look at the ups that the guy has in that spacesuit.
Well, he could be on wires, Nico.
Yeah.
Could be on wires.
Could he? I don't know about that. That's a big area to put a wire in somehow. And then these guys are recorded in slow motion. One, you only record things in slow motion for like a minute back in the day.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Slow motion cameras, if you were to do this, like you could only shoot for like a few like 30 seconds at a time.
It would be impossible to record slow motion for the length of time that we see some of these shots run for.
I was rolling on the moon one day.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this kind of looks fake.
So why does this look fake?
I'm getting that like Hollywood backdrop look where it's just that clean line.
Mhm.
Oh, but that's the thing. The moment he starts running and you realize, that's no backdrop. We just zoomed in. So his scale compared to that backdrop was like hundreds of feet tall at the very least.
Also, another thing to keep in mind is that the reason why it does look slightly uncanny is the fact that you can see so far and it completely destroys your sense of scale because there's no atmospheric dispersion of the light.
Fog, basically.
Yeah, there's no fog.
There's zero haze in any of these shots. Notice that you can see all the way up to the edge of the horizon, and there's zero haze. There's no air on the moon.
So like that distant crater off in the distance is going to be just as sharp as the rock at your feet.
It's also worth pointing out the way the dust is blowing would be impossible if there was air in that room. When you have air and you blow more air into it, you get vortices, you get turbulence.
Ooh.
So just like when a rocket takes off, you have a little bit of a streak and it goes poof, and it becomes all puffy. There's no puffiness there because there's no air to create resistance. So you go, and the particle just goes. So that shot that we just saw with that dust would have also had been filmed in a vacuum. If there's one thing that I've learned from shooting cool sci-fi stuff, it's that having reflective space helmets is the hardest thing to deal with on set because you always see the camera, you always see the lights, and you always see the microphones. There are no lights being reflected there in that helmet.
You can actually see Neil Armstrong holding the Hasselblad camera pointed at Buzz Aldrin right there. So Buzz Aldrin may have not been the first person on the moon, but he was the first model on the moon.
These videos on the moon are really crazy to watch. If you have any other real-life phenomenon that people think are real or fake and would love us to break down like this, let us know in the comments below.
Let's watch them leave the moon.
Oh, right.
Alright, there they are. The little white dot.
Whoa, no way.
Yep.
Cool.
This could not be stop motion. Stop motion would be impossible to get that kind of motion out of it. It just would. You can't get that kind of smooth. Yeah. So you got perspective shifts in the background, so it's not a painting.
Yeah.
They're moving around an object that would have to be a model or something that somebody has built. Let's just let it keep going though. Alright, unbroken shot. Here we go.
It still hasn't actually left frame, and it started out so tiny you couldn't even resolve it, and now it's like very noticeable in the shot.
Yeah, the only way to do that shot of the moonlander coming back to the orbiter is you'd have to build a giant spherical art piece and spin it, and then you'd have to have a little thing move across the distance. A model, I guess. It'd be a pretty big model for the amount of detail on it. You'd have to have an arm, a mechanical arm, but
Yeah.
you couldn't paint it out. There's no blue screen here. There's no blue screen fringing or edging.
Can we look at a scene that's 2001 really quick?
2001: A Space Odyssey, directed by Stanley Kubrick, came out just a year before the moon landing. So it's a great reference for the best of the best for visual and special effects at that time. And we can see how it stacks up to the actual moon landing here. Just immediately, it looks so different. Like you can tell the planet in the background is just a static painting.
And again, we're dealing with deep space stuff where the harsh shadows are easier to get.
But the lighting doesn't match up between the planet and the space station, and there's bounce light on the space station that's coming from who knows where. And then there's no perspective shifts on any of this stuff. Because the way they had to do these shots is basically do a painting. They could put in little, bits of footage of these people at their stations. But notice the camera doesn't move anywhere in the scene. It's just locked and it zooms out. Hey, look at all that turbulence in that smoke.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
See
how it's curling? We do not have any curls on the moon.
So this is a funny April Fool's idea we've had for a long time. I'm glad we finally got to sit down and do it. Yeah, believe it or not, I think the technology required to fake the moon landing, to the extent that we would see it, is almost more ambitious and harder to do than going to the moon.
Almost. It's significantly harder.
I agree with them.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
I don't think it was
Happy April.
fake. Moonlight, I don't think the moonlight was.
So you still believe in your first theory?
Yeah. My theory, that's my theory. They use alien technology to go to space. I claim that theory.
Guess we'll never know, bro.
I'll write it in my memo actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I'm going to make a video regarding theories, and my first subject is going to be the moon landing. Just give me the idea, and I'm going to put my own theory.
We could turn this into a series, just go through his huge historical events.
But you should change the
I just
cameras.
Talk
Instead of
about it,
being
Is it possible?
there, it needs to be there, because we're watching the screen all the time and just giving it back to the cameras.
Yeah. Anyway, bro, this was a
It was
great
a
conversation.
conversation.
Great to have you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna talk about more stuff next time you yeah? Thank you for coming, bro.
Okay.
And peace, guys. Take care.
Peace.